So my friend asked me to do this video. Now I'm gonna say it's not necessarily gonna be a thing that my advice is gonna work for you, but this is what worked for me. It's probably not the most, I'm gonna say accurate, but the best advice diet-wise, especially the beginning. But I just got to a point where I was just fed up with how I look, how I felt, and everything. Obviously, you can see that I've lost quite a bit of weight. Initially, it was easy because the job that I do, I'm literally on my feet all day, and some days I'm just like back to back with clients, and I don't really stop. I could stop for a break, but sometimes I choose not to stop. And that was initially the sort of way that I kind of programmed my mind to learn how to eat less, learn how to deal with not eating as much food as I was and as regular as I was. Because you imagine I was sat at a desk basically for my shift. Not only would I be eating at my desk, but then that's like crap food. So I wasn't really active. I was sat down eating at my desk, and then I got up and I'd still be eating on all of my breaks, all of my lunch time. So all of that had to stop. When I started my new job, which is the job I'm in now, I'd go all shift 8 hours. I'd have my breakfast and that would be it. I wouldn't eat until evening. Obviously it's not the healthiest, starving yourself in terms of losing weight, but it was more a mental thing than anything else. So I programmed my mind that way. Eventually I went and I saw a nutritionist slash dietitian, and kind of worked on a sort of a program. This was before I even hit the gym. Just nailing diet. Diet's really important. Like, you can do what you want in the gym, but if you don't eat properly, or don't eat right, or eat enough, or eat too much, it can really have an effect. You hear it everywhere, but it's the truth. So yeah, I did that, changed my diet, started to eat a lot better. It was just better choices in foods and better timing in terms of what I was eating. Portion sizes had sort of changed a little bit. So I did all of that, and then eventually I got back in the gym. At that point, I took 8 months off of work. I'd saved up quite a bit of money, and I just took 8 months off of work, and I literally just focused on myself. So I wasn't working at all, and I was literally, this is not exaggeration, I was going to the gym twice a day, every day apart from one, so 6 days a week. And I did that religiously for about 6 out of those 8 months I was off. I did have a few holidays in between and a few breaks with no training, but that was pretty much my life. And that really changed my body. Yeah, that was a big change. Again, it wasn't so much the gym, but it was a lot of the diet as well. Bringing in the exercise into the diet that I was in. Obviously I had to then adjust my calories through me training so much, but that really sort of changed things. At one point, I'm like about 5'8", and at one point I was like 18.5 stone. That was when I was fat. That was back in 2000, up until about 2013, 2014, so about four or 5 years ago. And now I weigh 13.5 stone. 13.5, yeah, I think it's like 13.5, but it's like about 85, 86 kg. So at my height, that's decent. obviously I carry a little bit more, I carry my mass a lot better. And my general sort of training program is a lot of compound exercises. A lot of the time when I get to go gym now, just because of work, I'm really busy. I literally just stick to basic movements, so I don't really sort of fuck about with, you know, your isolation movements, or I will do a few accessory movements, but it's more to sort of help me towards my big sort of lifts. So I will, most of the times, my general training program is squats, deadlifts, bench press, shoulder press. I'll do some back work, and then I might just throw in some accessory movements, but literally just big compound movements. I train more for strength than size. I find that I've got a lot of results more through just lifting heavy weight. Not really focusing too much on like your bodybuilding rep ranges and, you know, all those sort of, it's just literally just trying to lift heavy weight, get my technique right, and that seems to have changed my body. That's what my body seems to respond to. Not so much of this bodybuilding idea where it's been like sort of stretching the muscle and slowing down the reps and doing 10 to 12 reps per set and 3 sets. No, hasn't really worked for me. I mean, not to say it's bad, it might work for you, but again, it's a lot of trial and error, so you've got to sort of see what works for you. I've also been asked like what kind of supplements I've used. If I took the camera into the kitchen, you'll see on the table right now I've got omega fish oil, I've got vitamin D, I've got Tribulus testosteris, whatever you call it. I can't pronounce the name properly. What else have I got? I've also got I've got protein powder, which I hardly use, to be honest, because I eat so well. I've got creatine. Creatine monohydrate, that's what I stick to because that's the best. I find that really, really good for recovery and that. And right now I cruise on testosterone in Amphit, 250. I take just 1 shot per week. That helps to keep my testosterone levels up because when I was seeing my doctor, whilst I was going through like extreme weight loss, he said my testosterone levels are really low and I wouldn't be able to maintain the level of sort of training and weight loss and everything else. Kind of like my hormones just were all over the place. Looking back, I'm gonna say looking back, that's probably the wrong statement to say. I'd probably say my advice is if you are in a good position naturally to sort of natural testosterone build yourself up and you can sort of do it that way, it's probably best, because once you kind of go down this road it's difficult to kind of come out of it. I think the big thing for me is that I haven't sort of transcended my sort of I'll call it TRT sort of angle on it. So testosterone replacement therapy, for you that don't know what TRT is. I haven't sort of taken that bodybuilder route, which is to sort of take it to another level, i.e. abuse testosterone as opposed to use it where I want to get big and bulky. I've literally just used it to maintain my levels of like testosterone, make me feel normal. You know, I'll probably talk a lot about that on this channel. I do feel that not only naturally does your testosterone sort of plummet when you get sort of like your mid-30s, I'm 33 now, I'll be 34 in a couple of weeks. Your testosterone does naturally start to go lower, but I also think there's a lot of things in the water and the food that we eat that takes that even lower, especially in the UK. Don't call me a conspiracy theorist, but I see a lot of things around and it does make me question what's going on. So yeah, there's a lot of, especially younger guys around now more than ever before who were sort of experiencing low testosterone and that sort of stuff. But I don't want to digress. I just want to, so in summary, basically, I starved myself for a bit, got right with my diet, got back in the gym. It's nothing complicated. Got right, eating the right foods, got a few supplements, the very basic things that I wasn't, because I don't really eat lots of oily fish, which is why I had the omega supplement. My vitamin D is low generally because I'm not outdoors and in the sun a lot. So I think that's one of the reasons that's taken a hit, and then everything else is sort of like just maintain, you know, creatine that helps with my recovery, and testosterone for its obvious benefits and reasons. So yeah, I've done that, and I try to train at least 2 or 3 times a week. I think I train quite hard and quite intense because I tend to do full body workouts with everything that I tend to do. I don't do much cardio, but I haven't found that that's held me back too much. Like I said, because my workouts are quite intense. I completed my personal trainer level 3 course last year. So I got quite a lot of knowledge from that. I've never really sort of put myself in a gym and actually followed that up as a career. I was offered a position at Gym Group and also Pure Gym, but didn't really stick with me. I'm an introverted person, and the whole idea of like being in front of people and doing classes and that sort of stuff, so I didn't have to pay rent, didn't really stick with me. I know I'd probably say, yeah, that was a bit of a bitch move, but just not for me. My job that I do now is my bread and butter, and that was my focus. I was only going to really step away from that if I was like going into a job where there was a guaranteed salary. Don't get me wrong, I feel like I could do well in it, and I could probably get clients, but I'm not really that fussed, to be honest. It's just one of them things. Yeah, so I didn't really follow it up. If I ever go into the PT side of things, I'll probably just deal with one-on-one clients and people that, you know, want to sort of go down the same route as probably what I did. Like with powerlifting, general weight loss, consultancy, helping people understand their diet a little bit better, understanding supplements, understanding anabolics, whatever it might be. Just that sort of thing, but probably nothing else than that. If you look back at my old videos, you'll probably see a video of me quite fat. Someone commented on there like about a month or 2 back saying they wanted to see some progress pics or progress videos. Like I said, I haven't really been on this channel. I just kind of negated this channel and just kind of continued with life. But if you want to see or follow like my training and stuff like that, I do have an Instagram that I log into every now and then. And that Instagram is called MJR_training. You can follow me on there. I'll add you, and then you'll have access to like my pictures and my videos and stuff. Feel free to ask me any questions that you want in the comments and stuff. I'm not saying I know it all or I have the correct answers, but you know, if I have the answer, I'll give you the answer or my answer, or I'll point you in the right direction. But yeah, just a brief video on sort of like how I lost weight, and that. One thing I didn't want to do in this video was start talking like how everyone talks and like, oh, I did this and I went around this and some amazing. No, it was just basic. I just got to the point where I needed to be a better version of myself. I wanted to get back in the gym. I wanted to get back focusing on me. I had to be a little bit selfish. I've been through a rough patch, and it was just time to just sort my life out, really. So just the basic things that you tend to do: join a gym and get fit. Simple as that. There's no sort of rocket science in it. You know, there's little tweaks here and there, but there's nothing major sort of that you need to know.